Okay, let's dive right into this explainer and completely change how you look at something as ordinary as a sprouting seed. We walk past them every single day, right? We plant them in our gardens, and we keep them in little pots on our windowsills. But when you actually look at the research detailing the incredible biological mechanics operating just beneath the surface, it is anything but ordinary. Let's dig into the raw physics that allows a tiny, seemingly lifeless seed to literally conquer the planet.
To us, a dormant seed looks dead and peaceful. It's the ultimate symbol of tranquility, inert, silent, and motionless. But this brilliantly illustrates the terrifying myth versus reality of what's actually happening. Hidden inside this tiny, weathered capsule lies an explosive hydraulic engine. It is capable of generating forces that seem to entirely defy the laws of biology. Forces so immense they can crack solid concrete, shatter stone, and just rip right through solid earth.
The crucial point here is that life doesn't start gently. It starts with an explosive physical event. A seed can't simply wake up and stretch its leaves. It has to commit an act of pure mechanical violence. To even begin the process of living, the plant must first utterly destroy its own protective shell. It's a high-stakes, dramatic event that happens entirely out of our sight.
Let's move to part 1, the hydraulic engine, and see exactly how water triggers this mechanical awakening. Now, what's really interesting about this is that the seed isn't just passively soaking up water like a kitchen sponge, it's aggressively pulling it in. The trigger for this incredible awakening is a physical phenomena known as imbibition. When a dry seed touches soil moisture, it uses matrix suction, acting almost like a microscopic vacuum to drag that water inside with absolute savage force.
This rapid influx of water causes a massive buildup of internal stress right at the cellular level. As those water molecules rush inside the seed, they immediately bind tightly to proteins and the cell walls themselves. This causes the internal volume of the seed to rapidly and violently expand. We call this specific buildup of internal pressure turgor pressure. It acts exactly like an industrial engine revving up, or a biological Incredible Hulk bursting out of his shirt before a massive undertaking.
Physicists have actually measured this cellular expansion, and they found it generating up to 100 atmospheres of pressure inside the seed. 100 atmospheres. Just think about the sheer mechanical stress building up inside that tiny, brittle shell.
To put that into perspective, that is roughly 1,500 pounds of force per square inch, locked inside a capsule the size of a coin. That is literally more pressure than you would find crushing a submarine at the bottom of the ocean. And yet, this immense, destructive force is entirely contained within a biological structure no bigger than your fingertip. It's wild.
This biological force is so incredibly powerful that ancient civilizations actually used this exact mechanism to split solid quarry stones. Seriously, long before modern industrial tools, ancient builders would find existing cracks in massive stone blocks. They'd jam completely dry wooden wedges into those cracks and simply add water. The resulting imbibition pressure, that exact same matrix suction force happening inside our sprouting seed, was strong enough to violently split solid rock right down the middle.
Now that the pressure is built up, let's look at part 2, the cellular drill, and see how the plant weaponizes it to break free and shatter the earth.
This sequence acts exactly like an industrial diamond-tipped drill bit, explaining how urban weeds can effortlessly split solid concrete sidewalks or asphalt driveways. First, the initial root, known as the radical, emerges. It takes all of that 1,500 pounds of hydraulic pressure and concentrates it down into a single microscopic focal point at the very tip. Then the plant expands its cells horizontally to widen the microscopic fissures in the dirt or stone. Finally, it unleashes vertical hydraulic pressure to drive the root ever deeper. It is literally a slow-motion demolition crew operating silently beneath our feet.
But raw power is completely useless without direction, which brings us to part 3, the tactical compass, and navigating the dark.
Think about this for a second. Without eyes or light, how does the seed navigate the underground gauntlet? If you take a sprouting seedling and turn it completely on its side, within hours, the root will unnaturally bend directly downward into the earth, while the stem curves sharply upward toward the surface. How does a blind organism trapped in absolute darkness figure out its orientation?
Well, the plant solves this sensory problem with a built-in gyroscopic compass based on gravity. It's a brilliant biological mechanism known as gravitropism. Instead of looking for light right away, the root uses physical weight to dictate its growth direction.
No matter how a seed randomly lands in the dirt, heavy microscopic starch stones inside the root cells, called amyloplasts or statoliths, instantly sink to the absolute lowest point of the cell due to gravity, just like dropping pebbles into a glass of water. This physical sinking triggers a chemical wave of a growth hormone called auxin. The auxin tells the cells on the bottom side to slow down their growth, while telling the cells on the top side to accelerate. Because the top is growing faster than the bottom, it forces the root to bend perfectly downward. It's an automatic, incredibly elegant mechanical hack.
We've seen the violence and the intelligence it takes just to breach the surface. That brings us to part 4, the watch time loop, escaping the dirt. Every single delicate leaf, trailing vine, and towering tree you see around you began its life with this exact act of pure physical defiance. It is a masterclass in hydraulic engineering, a biological technology that successfully conquered the surface of this planet long before humans ever dreamed of building their first tools.
But breaking out of the dirt is really just the prologue. Surviving in the light requires a totally different, invisible kind of warfare. Once that tiny sprout manages to push its way through the crust of the earth and into the ambient air, the gauntlet is far from over. It enters a world dominated by competition for light. And to capture that light, it abandons its role as a subterranean demolition crew and develops an entirely new movement system that is completely invisible to the naked human eye.
If a seed uses bone-crushing physics just to wake up, what terrifying mechanical secrets is it hiding in plain sight as it hunts for light? I'll leave you with that provocative thought to ponder every time you look at a peaceful houseplant gracefully unfurling a new leaf on your desk. If it takes this much bone-crushing physics, 1,500 pounds of pressure, and heavy cellular gravity stones just to wake up in the dirt, what exactly is it doing when we aren't watching? Thanks for exploring this explainer with me today, and keep questioning what you see.